I've lived in New Jersey my entire life, and I know lots of interesting people. Artists, musicians, actors, business owners, and politicians. So my goal is to introduce some of the most interesting people who have ties to New Jersey. Either they live here, they work here, they went to school here, whatever tie I can think of. Many of these people are not well known even in New Jersey, but I'm going to change that because I'm Lucille Losapio, and this is Not So Famous in New Jersey. This is the second half of the Doctor Who discussion that I started a few weeks ago. This is a little change of pace for us because usually I interview a single person, but this is a group of people who all love that really wonderful series, Doctor Who. Doctor Who is about the Doctor who travels through time and space in his Tardis. And in this discussion, we talk about our favorite episodes, companions, and what makes Doctor Who so special to people of all generations, because that's what we represent. Now, when I started watching it, the very first episode, I'm going, this is kind of stupid. But it didn't take me long to get the joke, to understand that it's supposed to be kind of stupid. Some parts of it are supposed to be that way. Did anybody else have that feeling when you first started watching it, like this is kind of silly?
I don't remember the very beginning. I just kind of watched when my daughter was young, so we were watching it together and she liked it, so I thought, okay, this is something I'm watching with my family. And I guess it was just a few episodes where I was, okay, this is what we do now. We're Doctor Who fans now.
Well, I loved it right away, I think. But I don't remember exactly how long it took me to get into it. It was just kind of like, okay, like we're watching this new show now, and it became the best.
8?
When Ellie shows her friends Doctor Who for the first time, she goes right for the jugular. She'll say, okay, she'll give like some of the very best, most classic, most incredible episodes. She'll show them Blink right away. She'll show them Midnight. And I think that you got to kind of earn seeing those. You have to go get to know the characters. Don't lay it on them right away. If you really want to show a new Doctor Who fan, get them into River Song, who's, in my opinion, the very best, if you want to call her a companion. But that whole storyline, starting with David, starting with the library, ending with the husbands of River Song, that whole story going over, 5-6 years is just one of the most compelling that I think that they ever put together.
Now, River Song is actually, I don't know, is she dead now? I'm still in the, I'm in the Jodie season.
I think that she's not going to be touched again because she was Moffat's character. He wrote her in, he wrote her whole storyline, he wrote her that episode at the Husbands of River Song. I would be surprised if she was brought back again by anyone other than him, and I don't know if he's going to come back.
Plus, she's in a virtual world right now.
Right. But I mean, I get with time travel, you can do whatever you want. I think that her arc is over.
That arc was one of the reasons why I think the show is brilliant, because they started with something where she was introduced to David and she was like, I know you, and he's like, I don't know you, and she's like, oh, then I guess this is the last time, this is the first time you're meeting me, which means it's the last time I'm meeting you because we're backwards. And you think that's kind of brilliant, but they didn't just leave it. They then, over 5 years, showed that arc. Yeah. And it was, I have tingles thinking about it because there was long-term planning. And most shows now are like, let's just get something out. Yeah. This was just brilliant.
Yeah, that's why I like the Moffat years a lot, because I enjoyed the mystery. I enjoyed the connecting from episode to episode. I was in college at the time, and I had a group of friends who were really into it, and we'd meet and we'd talk about it. We'd talk about theories. Because the episodes were a bit less standalone as they have historically been, and were much heavier on the arc of the season story in those years, the payoff at the end, the payoff with the silence was such a big payoff. That being said, it was a complete shift. I know there's some people who didn't like that fact that it changed the feel of Doctor Who as a show, because it used to be much more that episodic, standalone story.
A little bit of a carryover, but not. Now, the silence. Remind me what that episode was.
They're the monster, the alien, who, when you see them, you realize that they're there. You remember them, but then you turn away,
and you don't remember.
It's like they've never existed.
Yes.
So they're influencing humans and our leadership and what we do through their power, let's say.
Now, I have to say, I really like time travel, and I don't know, I know you've watched the show Dark. Yeah. Have you seen that, Nora?
No.
Oh, you'd probably love it. Yeah, it's really good.
Except you shouldn't know that it's time travel.
Yeah.
I'll forget.
You'll forget, yeah.
Like the silence.
Yeah. Watch out for we have some angels in this house, so be careful. Don't blink. But this is the funniest thing. We used to watch, what was the zombie show?
Walking Dead.
Yeah. But he goes, I can't watch a time travel because it's impossible. I'm like, oh, but you'll watch zombies. Because there's so much more possible.
But that's why I always liked the monsters, like the weeping angels, like the silence, because in my mind, those exist. Right. Those are there. We just don't consciously realize it. So for Gary, I would just pitch to him, well, there are these monsters that are here with us and exist.
Maybe it is real.
I love how they play with time travel. Like we talked about the Husbands of River Song. We mentioned that a couple of times. But toward the very end of that episode, when the whole world is destroyed, he gets in his Tardis and he goes and he gives this diamond to somebody and says, I want you to build this restaurant. And that restaurant is where he's supposed to have his last night with River Song. So it's going to take him years and years and years to build a restaurant. So what does Peter Capaldi do? He goes back into the TARDIS, comes back, 20 years later when when it's built or however many years, and then he says, I'd like a reservation, please, for this particular date. They say, whoa, well, no, we have a 4-year wait. He goes, sure, fine, put me down. Goes in his TARDIS, comes back 2 seconds later, 4 years later. So they do have a lot of fun with it.
There are cultural influences. He does a lot of things that kind of impacts science fiction. He's kind of made a lot of changes in the way people see science fiction. Do you see that at all in that show?
I never thought I was a science fiction fan until Doctor Who, so I guess I don't know.
I mean, it's classic, it's iconic. I'm not sure it goes beyond the niche that they've created. I mean, still, I think most people don't have any idea what the whole Doctor Who universe is. And the ones who do know, they're like, they feel like a certain connection because it's still kind of a cult.
And we look down upon those other people. But the thing about Doctor Who is that, the thing about the Doctor is that they talk about social issues. And I like that, like they tie in things that, it's tying into historical events and all, but it's also talking about social issues and why it's important to make sure Rosa Parks gets on that bus. Remember that episode?
Well, then again, you're going into Jodie's time, which I got to tell you, I'm just, I don't like any episode, not even a single one, not even the Rosa Parks episode. I would like to just erase that all from existence. And for the most part, same thing with Chudy. I mean, as much as I think he's charismatic, except for the one show that Moffat wrote and a couple of others that, Russell T. Davies wrote, I'd like to get rid of that era too. I think they've gotten away, and I don't know if they're ever going to be able to bring it back to the Moffat era.
But I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but they're very, I don't know what the word really is, liberal type. I mean, they're very open and I guess it is liberal. I mean, they if cultural issues, especially what's going on today, is like you can't be who you are or who you want to be, they're like, oh, that's the most ridiculous thing we've ever heard. They're woke. You're very woke in the most beautiful way. It's like you are who you are. And it almost is saying, if you're going to be living in the future, this is the way it's going to be. So just get with it, people, and accept that we're just, I would say human. We're just human or Vulcan or whatever we are.
Yeah, I've seen people say, oh, Doctor Who's gone woke. That they talk about, and I can see in recent years they've probably added a few more mentions to it, and I'm pretty neutral on the subject of them doing that. But in previous seasons, especially with gender identity and expression and who likes who, that's type of thing that they've always been very flexible and open to.
Yeah, Madame Vostra and Jenny, Jack Harkness. I mean, they never
Right.
shied away from gender issues and
Right.
sexuality.
And the Time Lords can be any gender. They regenerate, and it's, oh, you're a new gender now, so it just doesn't matter.
Right, we saw that with the Master and Missy. Before we had a female Doctor, it was the Master and Missy showed that we could do that.
One of my favorite lines that has stayed with me is, I think it was Bill, Peter Capaldi's companion, Bill. They were on some other planet, and the alien there, she was talking, and he said something like, are you married? And she goes, well, I only like women. And he's,
the Romans.
Oh, the old, right, but another
Conquest.
Roman, okay. And he said, oh, my friend so-and-so is also close-minded like that. And she said, close-minded? I'm gay. He goes, yeah, he only likes one gender also. And I thought, ooh, that's kind of very cool to say it that way.
So yeah, I think maybe I like again I haven't watched some of like the newer, but maybe it's just a bit more explicitly stated than it was in the past, where it was more like inferred and not had to make a big deal because it was just there.
That's a really good point because it naturally embedded itself into the storylines. And I think for the most recent Doctor, they manufactured it. And I think that it was kind of pushed into it, and a lot of things that they did for absolutely no reason other than the fact to show that they embrace diversity. And it's great that Doctor Who is diverse, and the whole universe has always been Doctor Who. The whole show has been diverse, and but the fact of the matter is, they did it naturally in the past, and now it feels like it's kind of being thrust into it for the sake of diversity.
They're trying to recruit you to be trans. That's
It's worked.
So I want to know what your favorite episodes are, and talk a little bit about the specific episode, because I don't always remember which one is which, by name. So, in deference to me.
Blink is a classic, the first Weeping Angels episode with Sally Sparrow. But I think that probably is the number one episode of most people. And Midnight, the one where they're on that train to the planet called Midnight, made of diamonds, that one's also incredible. Two episodes that are great, that are standalone episodes, that could be standalone episodes. You don't really need much of a background to go into it. But also, I mean, Heaven Sent, the one where Peter Capaldi is in that confession dial for 4.6 billion years, and he has to punch through that ice wall. That's a great one, too. Those are probably some of my top three.
I think that's my favorite one. I mean, it's so profound, and you look at it, it's like a drama. It's so much deeper than just a regular episode. And while a lot of them are silly, this one really, I mean, I end up thinking about that one every couple of months because it's just so intense, the whole storyline. And again, he's in a place for 4 billion years. It's hard to fathom. And every day, or every couple of days, he relives that same exact day. And at one point, he realizes that he's been reliving it every day for 4 billion years. And he punches the ice wall to just make it a little bit of progress that it takes 4 billion years to punch through.
I love a good cry. So Doctor Who, as fun as it is, has also ripped my heart out many a time, particularly saying goodbye to a companion.
Yeah.
So some of my favorite ones are the goodbyes to different companions, like all of the stuff around like Bad Wolf, saying goodbye to Rose. I was in college and I was watching it, and full disclosure, I started watching Doctor Who because I was watching Downton Abbey, and Sybil died, and I was so upset, and I was like, I need a fun show. So then I started watching Doctor Who, and then
It makes you cry.
and then saying goodbye to Rose, I was like hysterically sobbing, and my friend was like, "Who died?" And I was like, "The show." And she was like, "You are ridiculous." And then I got her into it, and over the summer she watched it and she called me and she's like, "Why did you do this to me?" And then saying goodbye to Amy and Rory. I think that that particular end scene where Rory is touched by the angel and is sent, back in time, and Amy is like, I have to go, and the doctor's like, no, you don't. Like, that whole exchange and like the pain gets me every time. It's really sad.
It's terrible. I remember being inconsolable after Rose left at 9 years old. Like I had to leave the room. It was so sad.
But the one with Amy leaving, Angels Take Manhattan, in the cemetery, is such an incredibly touching scene. The biggest one, though, is Clara's end in The Raven. Oh my God. Missing her it was such an incredible. Why did they do that? It was such a horrible way to end a companion. Now, there was like kind of an aftermath to that to make it a little bit better. But Donna's ending wasn't so bad. Big deal. Her memory gets wiped. But to send Amy back 80 years or whatever it was, and then what they did to Clara with the Raven, it was...
Remind me, what happened?
What she did was there was somebody who had these numbers on the back of their neck, and there was a countdown in terms of how much time that they had left. And I guess that there was some kind of punishment, and she took it from them.
Right.
And she figured that the doctor would save her, but there was no way to save her. Yeah. And he just couldn't. And she's like, "What do you mean you can't save me here?" So she met her end there. It was a tearjerker.
What about Bad Wolf, the TV game show?
Oh, right. The one, it was like, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. I haven't seen that episode in a while. I did see they made an actual version of that game show, and a lot of the actors went on that.
Yes.
That was fun to watch, and they had K9 on there.
And the Time War. Time War where John Hurt comes back as the
That 50th anniversary special. Oh, that one is so good. Yeah.
And that's a good point. Christopher Eccleston should have been there. He should have been the war doctor, but he did not want to come back, so they needed to get John Hurt, and it was a great episode.
Right, and they kind of manufactured, this is a guy I just don't like to talk about, so that's who he is.
But that's another great episode about what they did with time travel. So they each had their sonic screwdriver, and they had to calibrate it, but it takes hundreds of years to make it work. So when one of them calibrates theirs, in real time, they see that what happens on future versions of that screwdriver.
I agree with all of these shows as my favorites because everyone is my favorite. I also think about when River's song revealed who she was. The tingles, I love things like that. When you could be, again, this is the long-term thinking. It's like they had to have thought of that years before in order to make this actually work. And I don't know, I have tingles thinking about it.
There was a boy on my bus in 4th grade. His name is Spencer. He spoiled River's song for me.
Oh no.
And he told me, he sort of told me, I was like, please don't tell me any spoilers. She's like, well, let me just tell you one thing about River. She's someone's daughter. And so I knew when it happened.
My brother Vincent has a way of always doing that. Let me just tell you one thing. Planet of the Apes. They're on Earth the whole time.
Favorite episodes? Well, you have to think about some of the Christmas episodes that are just above and beyond. They do something very special on a lot of these. Oh yes, the Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe, when he's the caretaker. And if you haven't seen that one, that might be one of the first ones you want to watch. It's just one of those fantasy shows. Matt Smith is at his best, and it's just a brilliant episode. And if you want to cry, that's a good one to watch. Have you seen that one?
I definitely have, because I've seen all the Christmas episodes to the point where I've watched so far, but I am struggling to super remember that episode.
It's the one where the woman's husband just died, and it's Christmas, and she hasn't told her kids yet. And so then they go to they visit this big house, they go into the present, which is this whole other world, and then the trees need to leave, and so the woman whose husband died flies them home, and her husband as well. That was a good one.
I know everybody's got their favorite doctor, but which do you think most embodies the essence of the Doctor?
I think the beauty of the Doctor is that the personality and who the Doctor is can change. It's not a stagnant character. Each incarnation of the Doctor just highlights a different part of their personality. So I don't really look at it as like, oh, this actor is more the Doctor than this other actor. I think they're all parts of the Doctor. So it's really hard for me I can say who's my favorite, but I can't really say this particular actor embodied the Doctor more.
That is such a good point. If you take a look at each one of them in their final season, you could see them really coming into their own, owning the Doctor, and making that a part of them and really bringing something to it. I mean, David's last season was great. Matt's last season, when he was in Transalore, what an incredible episode. And then Peter's also, Peter all the way through, but he became Doctor Who. I think he grew into it kind of early. And he just embodied it. So yeah, that's a really good point. I think all of them do show that they are part of the whole Doctor Who lore.
And if you say who embodies the Doctor most, I guess since they all are different parts of the Doctor, it's really just what do you think the Doctor should be? Which might be different than what I think the Doctor should be. So who embodies the Doctor most? It kind of goes back to who's your favorite, really.
Yeah.
Right. Just what I would say is I think I agree, but if I think something about Matt Smith's character is how he is so he has this very light, goofy attitude, but he can dial in to the dark, like and powerful, and some of his speeches are very like grand doctor speeches. So he has a lot of, I guess, he has a much larger dichotomy within his character.
We went to Wales to see where Doctor Who was, well, a lot of it was filmed.
Ooh.
And we got to be in a lot of those parts in the diner where he came back from the astronaut. We saw that they have a TARDIS in the back. We went on a tour of South Wales where they showed, we saw a lot of the different filming locations. So I felt a really strong connection to Matt Smith because a lot of those episodes, especially the first one with Amy, we got to experience it because we were right there, and it just brings on a different meaning to it.
Well, here's some little interesting trivia. Matt Smith, well, you probably know this, was Daemon Targaryen.
In the House of Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did know that.
And Peter Capaldi had once lobbied the BBC to be the secretary of the official Doctor Who fan club.
He was also, by the way, in the recent season of Black Mirror. And if you haven't seen that episode, you can see Peter Capaldi, a whole new side of him. And he's just brilliant.
Another thing, if we're talking about old Doctor Who fans, I think common trivia knowledge, but David Tennant, his wife, he met on the set of Doctor Who. She played his daughter, and she's the actual daughter of the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker. So, and that's just awesome.
Great.
And if you really liked David Tennant as the Doctor, I recommend the TV show Good Omens, because that's probably the character that kind of parallels to the Doctor, his character he plays in Good Omen.
I know he was in the BBC miniseries Casanova, playing a younger version of Peter O'Toole.
He also was in, was it Broadchurch?
Yes.
Where it was him and Jodie.
Yeah.
And that's where we first see Jodie. And that's why I was so excited to see that new season, because, you love Jodie in Broadchurch, and then she comes over and just, and she was great, but the writing just couldn't support her. Well, you should ask about the companions.
Oh, should I now?
Who's your favorite companion? I mean, that's like, I'm sure everybody has an opinion on that.
Watching at first, when Rose disappears, my thought is just like when any doctor disappears, and you think it's never going to be the same. So obviously Rose is my favorite. And then comes the next one, and you go, oh, obviously this is my favorite. And obviously, yeah. Now, a lot of people, I mean, I loved all of them except for Donna until I went back and watched it again, and then I fell in love with Donna. I don't know what it was, but yeah, she took some time for me.
Yeah, mine is always fluctuating. If River Song counts as a companion, it's definitely River Song. After that, I'd probably say Amy and Rory together. And then, I mean, Rose was always my favorite because she was the first one, but I think Clara might be next.
I think for me, because the companion is for the audience, like kind of the perspective we're watching from, I think probably Amy and Rory are, because when I was watching, they most closely were to my age. I saw myself a bit in like them and the things they were thinking about in life. So I kind of like really connected with them at that time. I'd be curious upon rewatches later in life if I were to change my mind about that.
It seemed like Clara, I mean, he made such a big deal about Clara in like after she was gone, like he was always like kind of mooning over Clara. Did you get that feeling?
Yeah, and to be honest, it took me a long time to like Clara. It was good that she was a companion for so long, because I was not into her at the beginning, because it was too like the chosen girl. Like there was too much pressure put on her from the beginning as being like so important, whereas like the companion, although you might find out there's some importance to them later, I felt like that's something I want to grow upon. I don't want the pressure to be on it right from the beginning.
I think it's kind of weird that she has like 3 companions, but they couldn't figure out I guess it was like, you're not going to have just a guy, because then it's like, oh, that's weird because she's with a guy, I don't know.
It's okay for the man doctor to have a woman, but a woman with a man would be weird.
I think if she had Yaz the whole way through, I think that probably would have been better than to have them. Not that there was anything wrong with the other ones, but yeah, I like the one. But then again, Peter Capaldi, he had Nardole. I mean, that was such a bizarre companion, along with Madame Vostra and Jenny. Those were kind of companions as well. And Strax. I mean, there were a whole bunch of them. So, multiple companions are great. It's really interesting what you said, that we see it from the companion's point of view.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. But what I also love about the companions is these women who have been, mostly women, are very strong, they're very clever, and they save him. They really are companions. They're partners. They're not just people who tag along. They are very important parts of the plot. They often come up with the solution, and he would not have made it as far as he did without these very strong partners that he had all along.
And nobody's talking about Bill. What do you think about Bill?
But you know what? Besides Bill, who are we forgetting? I don't even remember her name. Martha. Martha was someone who came, and I feel bad for the actress because it's almost like they were like, "Oh, we don't really like her, so let's get rid of her." And
Freema?
she wanted to go. She wanted to be his companion. She was in love with him, I think,
Yeah.
and he was like, "I'm not interested."
Well, she was great too. I mean, no,
She
that's a
was
good
right,
point.
but what did they do? Why did they do that? Did they want a character where he just was like, "No, you like me, I don't like you"?
I don't know why. There was always that tension. But even Amy had some of that too. Like at Amy's wedding with Rory, there was a little tension with the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, with Martha, she was written as a rebound, where he just lost this love, this passion, and so he wasn't ready to have someone else. And it's just a lot of people just sort of glance over her, because then you get Donna, who I loved, and I kind of loved it was always a friendship dynamic between them. They were just like two buddies who loved each other platonically. With Martha, she was just, I felt like, written as she was always pining for him, and he just never cared.
Right. I mean, with Donna, they mentioned that right away. She was like, "What do you want me for?" He says, I just want a mate." And she goes, "You want a mate?" And
You're not mating with me, sunshine.
I like the fact that they never make it a romantic relationship. Well, and like with Peter Capaldi, because he's older, it's more like a father-daughter thing. But even with the young, handsome guys, they never make it like, that there's something going to happen between them, which I really like. It's like they can just be friends. They can just be companions.
Except for River. There's always
Yeah, but River wasn't really, she didn't travel with him as a companion.
She was his romantic interest.
But technically, Rose, I would say, is
Yeah,
probably the
that's what I was
closest
gonna say.
because the double of the doctor does go to live with her. It's pretty inferred that they do end up having a romantic relationship. So even though he does marry River, it's not. I don't know. There's still a little bit of a difference there, even though she's the doctor's wife. Whereas Rose, I feel like they more heavy-handedly
Yeah, like they loved each other.
Yeah.
And I think there was a line in Peter's season with Clara where he's like, "I need to tell you, I'm not your boyfriend," and she said, "I never thought you were," and he said, "I never said it was your mistake."
I don't remember that. But I also think maybe because Rose was either romantic or implied or very close to it, and then she left, they kind of decided we're not going to do that again. Like, let's make them mates.
I also think, is there something with Yaz? Are the doctor and Yaz? Is there anything with that?
Jodie?
With Jodie, I thought no. Okay, I thought there was something there.
Ellie, help me out on this.
Yeah.
A slightly different topic here. But Clara
Yes.
was so in love with Danny Pink that she took the 7 Tardis keys and they were locked
that
out of the
was so
Tardis,
good.
and she threw each one out and threw it away so they could never get back into the Tardis, and they were stuck in this, who knows, there's some kind of meteor they were on or something, and they could never get back in. And of course the doctor didn't allow that to happen, but he watched it happen to see what she would do. And then she felt very bad about betraying him and figured that he would want to just drop her off and never see her again. And he gave the greatest line ever, which was,
"Do you think I care for you so little that betraying me would make a difference?"
and think about that. That is absolutely a beautiful sentiment, that he was completely betrayed in the worst way. They would be stuck there forever. And he said, "Do you think that betraying me," what is it again?
"Do you think I care for you so little that betraying me would make a difference?"
Ah, beautiful. That must be a Stephen Moffat line, because Stephen Moffat also, by the way, he's absolutely so brilliant because he also wrote the Sherlock episodes. He also wrote Coupling, if you ever saw that, which shows his funny side.
Which
And
which episode is that?
well, Coupling is a
Oh.
series. It's a
Oh,
British
oh.
series. That's one. It's like a Dirtier Friends, kind of like that. And he did Sherlock. He did with yeah. He did that for and those episodes are fantastic. Very, very clever.
Well, I think it's about time to wrap up. We've spent about an hour, and I'm going to have to try to edit this down, which will be impossible. Yeah. But thank you all for participating, and it's a little bigger on the inside, isn't it?
Maybe the doctor will still come pick me up. That was always a dream, my friends and I. Maybe we'll be the next companion.
Where else can you hear scintillating conversations with interesting people with ties to New Jersey except for here? You can't, and that's why you should subscribe and listen to every episode. I'm Lucille Osapio, and this is Not So Famous in New Jersey.